I bought my first property through a buyer's agent. And the big mistake that I made with going with a buyer's agent was I handed the keys to my financial future to this person. I gave absolute trust that they were the professional and knew absolutely everything. And, I'm a busy professional, right? I've got a job, I'm making income. I don't have time to go out there and do all the property research because you can just pay somebody and they will care about your financial future as much as you do. If you're going to be investing in property without getting the property education and then engaging a buyer's agent to not push back on some of the things that they're talking about, that's the biggest problem that I had. It's entirely my fault, the asset that was purchased and the terrible thing that, just the rubbish that it was, because I didn't push back. I didn't say, hey, what's going on here? Why are we going to this place? And so anyway, I bought a property. I don't really
didn't know what questions to ask. Is that what you're saying when you say I didn't push back?
Well, they just sent me this amazing report about how great the area is. There was all this data, all this information, and it was just a poor asset choice for that location. So it was the lowest value property there. So it was $280,000, and it was in an area that just didn't have any growth. So I got this great glossy brochure to say how great it was, and it wasn't there.
Back to your story, Jeff. I'm curious because you also used a buyer's agent. Did your buyer's agent take money from you and from developers?
Definitely not, no. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that was one thing because by this stage I had I've been to probably, some of those house and land packages types where you don't pay them a cent. And I was heavily against doing that myself. So I made sure that they were acting, I suppose, in theory, they were acting in my best interest in the sense that it was a fee for service. So the process of them, and I interviewed probably somewhere between 10 to 15 buyers agents, just to some of varying degrees of sales kind of tactics, where some would say I heard a company where they said they would put you into a room and sort of get you to sort of sign a contract then and there on the spot to go with them. I wasn't put in that situation, and if I was, I would have probably walked out, to be very frank, and I would have said, well, no, I'm not going to sign this on the spot. So the people, the company I chose or used, they sort of did understand some of my goals, and that's probably where I became a bit unstuck. But the process was they were searching for a couple of weeks, and they sent out weekly emails of properties they'd inspected, and then said, well, here's why we wouldn't buy this property. So they sort of, it wasn't just a stock list, and basically then the third or fourth sort of time they found a couple of tick the boxes, and I wasn't even clear what those boxes were. So I think that's probably an error or mistake. So, and they said, well, hey, there's some that it's up to you. Which one do you want us to kind of move forward? And they didn't say you had to move forward, but I just thought, oh, well, what am I waiting for? I should pick one of these properties. So that's kind of how the process went for me. And then I decided on one of those.
And you still own that one, don't you?
I do, yeah. So I'm actually, it's actually on the market at the moment. So, and it's an absolute, like it's been from a maintenance perspective, it's been a very low maintenance property. The tenants, it's only been vacant for 2 weeks in 7 years I've had it. And the tenants have been in there for 2 or 3 years. So it's been relatively hands off from that perspective. So it has had its upsides as well. So it's not all kind of doom and gloom, but it just hasn't. Knowing what I know now, would I have bought that property? Probably not.